I'm partially set up. I've got a bunch of stuff I gotta get here. But how are you guys? While I play with various weird substances. I hope everybody appreciates my absolutely phenomenal vintage electric drill, because I love it. It's kind of the best. And no, I actually don't recall where I got it. Okay. Alright, so that guy's ready to go. Okay, yeah, you should be excited about this stain. I'm already impressed with it. So, I'm gonna actually drill my hole in this guy before I get to the fun chemistry. Just because I think it'll be easier to handle if I'm not worrying about it being wet. But, yeah, like, you can already see this is my homemade stain, and it's crystal clear. And it's going to turn this a darker shade. I haven't tried it, obviously, I haven't done a tester bit on this piece of wood yet. But I did test it kind of inadvertently on a wooden chopstick, and it was so exciting. And yeah, the fulfillment of all of my dreams. So, not all of them, many. So, right off the bat, what I'm trying to do with this guy is I just need to drill a hole in the back so I can hang it on the wall. And I considered just getting a cute little brass hanger and tacking it onto here, but then it would definitely hang off the wall slightly, you know, it'd be a gap. So this isn't going to weigh a lot. I'm actually just going to drill a hole at an angle kind of up into the wood so that it can just, you know, you knock out a nail into the wall and then just kind of peg it on. So that should be pretty simple and straightforward. Yeah, I can just use this ruler. Let go of my ruler. I have my my whole board up above me semi set up with all of my tools. I made sure the one behind me, that beautiful blue one behind me, was all set up because you guys can see it. The one in front of me is a whole different world. But it's getting better. I just have to finalize stuff. And I don't have a pencil right here. I have a pencil right here. I have like 6 broken pencils. There we go. Nope, this pencil is broken, but it'll probably get me as far as I need to get. Okay, so this dude... This is 82 millimeters across, so at 41 millimeters is my middle. And then from there, going from that middle to the middle of the bottom is 120. And so this would be the actual middle. So I don't need the middle. I basically just need to be, you know, at a good hanger height. That's just, honestly, I don't need to measure it. I'll just put it like here. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now we'll confirm that that's actually the middle of that part because I don't need to screw that up pointlessly. So I'm at 84 and that's 42. Yeah, so cool. So this is going to be just real quick. I just need a pretty basic little hole. Actually, let me tap myself as an entry hole because I'm going in at a weird angle. No reason to like hurt myself on camera. I mean, anything for the ratings, that's not true. I know I want to go in at an angle, so that gives me a nice little starter hole. And then Well, not this nail. If I have a nice little basic nail. Wow, even this one's head's too big. Man, I thought I got a big enough drill bit. That was incorrecto. Let me find it. Alright, here. Make this hole just a little bit bigger, and then I can move on to weird chemistry. Well, my connection's gone a bit funny. Because that looks like it's connected. Come on, OBS. Come on, little buddy. Looks fine. All right, are we back? Okay. I think we're back. Okay, yeah, it looks like it. OBS had a hissy fit. I'm not sure what that was. It looks like my connection was okay, but the program that I'm using froze up. Okay, I'm glad I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. The internet. It's a wild and crazy place. Well, you didn't miss anything because I was busy being sad that my internet was off. So, yeah, it works out. Okay, I'm just going to make this starter hole a little bit bigger with my seriously oversized drill bit. This might be silly. Yeah, right? Yeah, it's... There we go. Wow, that's eating... Well, I think I can go a little bit farther. In for a penny, in for a pound. Oh. Didn't tighten that back enough, but that's okay. Alright, I think we got it. Because now... Yep. That's all I needed. Really? I haven't tried XSplit, but yeah, there's a couple of different things out there. Twitch has their own, but the internet's just a wild and crazy place, you know. Hang on this. Oh yeah, I could even hang on my really big one. Okay, there. I now have a big enough hole. So that is the end of power tools for today. But it was fun while it lasted. Okay, so now I have a little hole in the back so I can actually hang this upon a friendly nail when I put it on the wall. So that part's done. So now we get to play with weird chemistry. So weird chemistry for today. We are playing with iron acetate, which messes around with the tannins present in wood. So I made my own iron acetate. Since I was only staining something this big, I didn't want to necessarily go out and buy something, and my workshop isn't hugely well ventilated, although it's not bad. Things like that. So I wanted something simple. Simple, straightforward, that I could make that was really cheap, and not the worst toxic thing. You know, fumes are bad. You want air flow through. So I made my iron acetate. So that's what's in here. So this is steel wool. This is like just the nice fine steel wool. It's more of like a woodworking steel wool. I was originally thinking I was going to have to go and get like stuff that you scrub your pans with, but that has moved on. And now steel wool that you use for pans is like the big thick ribbons, and it's stainless, and it's delightful actually. for scrubbing your pans. This is Woodworker's steel wool, and oh man, did I lose it again? No, okay. I have it soaking in white vinegar. So this is ye olde giant jug white vinegar. I did post pictures of this on my Instagram if anybody wants to look, but it's not that interesting. And so this has been soaking for like 2 days, and I was expecting the steel wool to be visibly rusted. I thought it'd be much smaller or obviously changed, and I'm not seeing that. I'm not actually seeing particular rust. There's some rust staining along the top of the container now. You know, you guys can kind of see this gross up here, but oh, weird. So my video died, but you can hear me. Man, guys, I gremlins today, because as far as I can tell, my my actual frame rate's okay. Things like that. So okay, I'm fine for a couple people. So sorry, guys. I'll keep rolling as long as you can hear me. I mean, honestly, that's like the main thing. Yeah, because we know that OBS failed, and so that might have a continued effect. So yeah, refresh me as you need. Sorry guys, it's a weird tech day. Okay, but to keep rolling. Yeah, no, I don't. Sorry everybody. The internet is full of gremlins, sunspots, etc. I don't know. Also, can I just take a moment and say how much I appreciate you guys supporting each other and, like, problem shooting this for each other? Thanks, everybody. That's really wonderful. Way to support the team. Okay, so I got my stuff. It's been soaking since Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. And so, yeah, my solution is clear. You can see down here, it's obviously not 100% clear, but it's mostly now a clear solution. It doesn't have any particular smell. Yes, my Ethernet is plugged in. I did check that while I was completely out. And so, yeah, this is a weird substance. So the whole point of this is not dye. I'm not dyeing my piece of wood. You know, so if I had pigments, I would actually be layering pigment into the spongy structure of the wood, and that's the color that you get. So it's not paint, it's not a dye, it's a chemical reaction, which I find just so exciting and absolutely fun. So I'm going to put a little bit on this, and the best part about it is because it is a chemical reaction, it is slow. I'm going to put my drill on the floor. I don't need to knock that on the floor. So I'll do it on the back first, because if I hate this, I do want to have a back out. Since I haven't tried it on my actual guy yet. Let's take my steel wool out just so I can end that particular part of the chemical reaction. So yeah, there's just a big old chunko of steel wool. It's very absorbent, so I gotta give that a second. Alright, get that guy out of the way. Ooh, that had a very iron smell. Whew. I'm sorry if you found that gross. I guess I don't count inorganic gross. That's delightful. Okay. So I have my clean brush in clear liquid. Okay, so you can see it's already darkening, but you would get that with water. But then it keeps going. Can you guys totally see that? Like, so of course it's going to darken up a little bit because it's wet wood. You know, it just does that. But, I mean... And the wood grain, you can actually, like, the wood grain colors are really starting to pop out a little more. I was reading that apparently that has to do with just the different wood grains are going to have different concentrations of tannins. So not only is the grain itself denser or spongier, and so it's going to absorb the chemical different, but, you know, as the wood ages and goes through its life, it's going to actually store the tannin a little bit differently. And you can kind of see where the label used to be. There was a price tag on here. No bubbling. It did bubble. It did bubble when I first, or when I had the metal in there. So over time, it did release a gas. I'm not entirely sure what the X gas was. I was meaning to look that up and I didn't get to it. So this is contains iron acetate and like water in a, it's, you know, it's not a pure solution. It's a suspension of iron acetate, but it did bubble at the time. This is not bubbling. This is just settling out. And then Nitocris, to answer your question, I'm expecting a darker brown with a silvery weathered look is my kind of hope. So I want that brown. I want that richer color than the super light pine that you get from just this. You know, this I got from a craft store for $1. So it's some sort of cheap pine. But I'm hoping for something that's just darker and richer, so that when I have my painted model on top of it, it's not going to be a blinding light colored background. I want the slightly darker look. And there's things I could have done to make this darker. You can let it react longer. Oh yeah, it does. It would affect different woods completely differently. Again, tannin levels. Apparently oak is famous for having a lot of tannins in it, and so it really deepens up. If I had left the solution going longer, it would have a higher concentration of iron acetate. That would affect it. Stuff like that. Ooh, I am going to crack the window. The smell is... It smells like metal. Yeah, it's just a metally smell, but I'm noticing it more, so I'm going to crack a window. I didn't start with that window open because they've been doing a lot of sewer construction on my street, so it's been loud the last couple days, but it seems okay. Okay. I love this. Like, that already, like, I'll go for that color. If this ends up being my final color, I'm 100% happy. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit this whole thing. Yeah, wow, it's such a delightfully rich, slow reaction. Oh, I forgot to turn my other light on. Let's see. Hopefully that it doesn't make that big of a difference for you guys. Actually, I don't know. I think I'm going to turn that light off. I don't think it's helping this time. Yeah, because there's more natural daylight behind me, so I think that's actually given us a little bit better. Oh, here's an interesting thing. So here where the wood is much smoother, I'm getting a slower reaction, but I have dribbles on the side that turned really dark because, of course, this is all roughed up, and it was able to sink in faster. That's neat. Chemistry's fun. And I was talking to a friend of mine who loves woodworking, and he was saying if I also wanted to dye it, so if I wanted to have... You know, there's a bunch of fun dyes that I did consider. Like, you can make something from turmeric, or beets, or tea, or wine, you know, or coffee. Stuff like that. I looked at those. But, he would recommend doing that first, and then layering this on after. And I didn't want to spend a ton of time on this. I want to be painting that model. So, I decided to keep this one pretty straightforward, but... Oh, I love this. But yeah, that silvery, brown, gray, weathered look. You know, like a picnic table at the park. Yeah, that back is a nice, rich color. Oh, nuggets! I meant to take pictures for Instagram. Oh well, didn't. Oh yeah, saffron dye. You could that has to be fantastic. If anybody feels like clipping any parts of this, it might be too late. I might just go do highlights, but... Alright. So... And then I have a ton of this left. I thought about trying to make, like, the tiniest little bit, and I was like, nah, this is a usable quantity. I have some other projects I might use it on, but it's, it doesn't have a hugely long shelf life, apparently, so we'll play with that. Yeah, saffron dye does sound expensive. I guess if you're doing something this big, it's not that big a deal. I think I got all the little edges. I'm trying to make sure I'm in the grooves, you know. But overall, I love this. Yeah, so already, this is a great color. If it stops here, I'm happy. If it continues to process, I'm happy. My understanding is it's not a bad idea to give it a rinse before doing much else with it. So I'll see about that once it dries up a little bit more. But yeah, now I have a nice color. It does have that little bit of silveriness. So you're not going to get the popping darker browns or reds that you would get from like a commercial stain. But this looks like a much richer wood than that right off the shelf pine that you get at the craft store, which is literally what this was. So I love this. I'm entirely happy. And so this is going to be what, boom, my T-Rex is on. So already, you know, we have a winner. I'm going to do more work with this, but I'm pretty happy with this first step. That's really cool. Let me get this. I'm going to put this by the window because that's it'll let it dry out a little bit faster. Starting with the jokes. Thank you, DL. Alright. So that's going well. Actually, close that door. Okay. And then this is dry. Yeah. Okay. So I successfully kept my work surface pretty dry so I can move on with my next steps on this. I'm pretty happy about that. I do have my camera higher than usual because I'm going to be doing stuff kind of in this Z level. So hopefully you guys will have enough in focus. If people do decide that you want me to try and move the camera closer, let me know. But I was hoping this way you got like the bigger workspace. It worked for this kind of larger level project. Yeah, so I've got my T-Rex head that we've sanded last week, which I still love. Just touching it is really satisfying. This is a great thing. And part of me wanted to wait to affix this to the board before I started painting it, you know, put some masking tape around it and then do it along the edges. But the timing on that wasn't great, and I'm just like, no, I want to just make this, I want to make this real. I want to have it happen. So I can start painting it now, and then at some point I might still fix it to the board once the board is totally dry, and then do detail work, but I can at least get it started here. So, fun story. Well, I think it's fun. There is a fantastic organization in Chicago called The Waste Shed, which sells used art supplies. So people used most of the art supplies in a pack, but they had 3 tubes left they never touched. They can donate it. Someone will use it. And they're actually having a free-for-all today where they have so much stuff that people had been donating because of coronavirus. People, you know, during lockdown, people were home and they cleaned out their closets and then they donated tons of stuff, that they're just lining the sidewalk with stuff and you can come and take anything you want. I considered going down there today. I actually considered pushing my feedback so I could go to this free-for-all, and then decided that for me personally that's too dangerous because I wouldn't want to fill this entire room to the ceiling with really rad stuff. So I hope other people are finding their cool stuff. What I did do is I went there last week and I bought a bunch of paint. So I can grab that stuff. So this is my haul of paints. And it's all over the place. Like, I've got things that are mostly full tubes. Then I've got, like, this horror show, which is basically spent. But there's going to be some blue in that. You know, big, nice thing, classic colors. And then this was fun. These are samples. So it's just a selection of samples. So I know they're going to be nice and fresh because these are sealed sample packs. So I just grabbed a whole bunch of interesting stuff. That does not belong there. Boop. To kind of work with. And I've got all the basics. Red, yellow, green, blue, black, white. And then I've got burnt sienna and burnt umber as nice earthy browns because I've been actually, and I'd love opinions on this. I'm trying to figure out exactly what color direction I want to go with my T-Rex. So T-Rex is a ginormous theropod. Extant theropods include chickens, pigeons. Oh yeah, no, I gotta figure out feathers. Cassowaries, ostriches, things like that. And so I could have, oh yeah, purple's on the list. Like, but am I gonna, what's my inspiration? Because I don't want to try and mimic feathers on a hard surface. You know, I thought about actually literally gluing feathers to it. Oh my god, no. Barney's far too friendly. This is not a friendly face, clearly. But, like, I don't want to put actual feathers on here. But I can have kind of reminder of feathers. But there's lots and lots and lots of current world birds that have naked faces. Yeah, thank you, Pseudony. Like, a basic vulture face. We've got the North American turkey vulture, big red head. There's North American black vultures, which have a black head. I'm sure you guys put that together. Cassowaries have rainbows of colors on their faces. You know, there's lots of ways to go. So what I'm going to do is my base color for this guy is going to be effectively chicken skin. I'm going to paint the whole thing kind of a pinky off-white creamy color like I know of bird skin. So when I've skinned enough birds that it's the predominant color of skin, I can picture it. It's a silvery white. Well, that's for dead, obviously. For living birds, it's pinky. And so I'll give it that base, and then I can go over it with more details. And right now I'm leaning in a cassowary direction because the colors are fun, but I might head towards more of a vulture direction and do like lots of reds and black and have like a cool like darker predatory look there. There's a lot of naked-headed birds in the world that are a fantastic inspiration. So I know where I'm starting, and I might as well, you know, get her rolling. But if anybody has strong feelings, I might not do what you want, but, you know, I'm definitely interested in people's opinions. So to make a good skin tone, skin is weird. So, you know, I am a Caucasian person, so I've got, you know, this kind of pale skin tone, which most birds that I've worked with actually have a skin tone that's very similar to, like, a classic Caucasian skin. Classic Caucasian skin, you want to add, you know, pink and white, and yellow, and greeny blue. And seal point T-Rex. And you actually want, like, some of those other weird color hints in there, because when you're looking at your own arms, you can see veins and things like that. And so I'm gonna actually mimic partially my own skin tone, although I'm gonna head to a lighter, pinker color based on the cockatiel that I once owned and loved, and other birds that I have met over time. So I need... Where did I put my... I should finish that sentence. I have a color palette somewhere. I'm not sure where I put it. Okay. Alright. So there's my palette. And then I can do most of my work on a piece of cardboard, so I'm not getting a ton of paint on my other surface. I don't mind if I get little splotches on my grid here, but I don't need to get a ton. So yeah, palette for mixing and wiping clean, and then this guy. What else do I need? Oh, I probably want water. Okay. I'm gonna move my stain and get a cup of water, which is like 10 seconds, so I'm not gonna put up the AFK message. I'll be back in a sec. Also, oh my god, you guys. Jeez, look how nice this is. That's a nice, rich, silvery brown. I love where this is going. That's exciting. Alright, 1 second. Alright, cup of water. Absolutely required for this sort of thing. And I'm actually going to transfer my acrylics down here because I want this workspace a little cleaner. So they can hang out there, so I'll move my weird bowl. Yeah, no, Library Rat. I'm real happy with how that stain's going. Something that I read is if anybody else is interested in making your own iron acetate-based stain, which is, I think another term for it is ebonizing, is something I saw. Keep in mind, it is going to be inconsistent. So if you're doing like a really big woodworking project and you need that beautiful consistent stain, you want to probably buy your own stain. Or go through a different method. If you're doing a weird little project or you don't mind having that variability, like, it sure seems like a really rad way to go, in my eternally humble opinion. Let's see. What do I need? I'm gonna want brushes. I mean, I could get a palette knife. I might as well dig out a palette knife. It makes me look pro. Right? Something's got to. Let's see. So play with these guys. And I just have my palette knives out, and I gotta figure out where I have them. Aha! It was not the worst journey ever to try and find my palette knives. Let's go for another one. Yeah, I'm going with smaller. Okay. We've got 2 nice sizes of brushes. Heck yeah. Palette knives and palette knife painting is so much fun. Like, I had no idea that that was a thing, but then learning how to do it, like, yeah, palette knives make for happy little trees, or whatever other weird moosh style art you're doing. That is, of course, a technical term. Okay, so I have that. I have my buddy. So let's start with just making color, so I've got this centered so you guys can see it a little better, and then I can move stuff around when I'm actually painting. Man, let's see. I have not actually used acrylics in a million years, so I might make a bunch of bad pigment. So this next section might just be me messing up bad pigment, and, you know, I accept that. That was a satisfying little bit that came off there. Alright. I love burnt sienna. Like, the burns are interesting because they sound silly, but of course it's from actually burning something. Let's see. No, this is different. So I grabbed this too, so this is acrylic retarder. This will make the acrylic take longer to dry. I don't think I need that, so I'm gonna set that guy aside. But this is a fun reminder about what I got. Oh, this one's called Pearl Sparkle. I found fun things. Did I get actual white, or am I gonna have to use Pearl Sparkle? Oh man, I think we're just gonna go right for the Pearl Sparkle. Shoot. This plan is flawless. I didn't realize I didn't manage to get a plain white. Oh, Elsies. Oh wow, this is weird. I'm excited. Alright. Oh guys, it's pearly and sparkly. That's the jam. That's the stuff. This is gonna be great. Ooh, is there white in my sampler? Okay, yeah, okay, there's so much crud dried onto these. I used to have a ton of paint, you know, because I obviously have all the other stuff, and I donated that to a different organization like a million years ago. And seeing how funky these other paints are makes me really glad I did. So hopefully someone else got to use my paints before they got to a place of being absolute dried out trash. Let's see. So crunchy. And the way Shed had all the paints, they had a big thing of oil paints, they had watercolors, they had puffy paints to put it on your clothes, paint markers, and that was just the stuff they had outside for their sidewalk sale, because I didn't feel comfortable going indoors. but I didn't have to because they have big bins outside and a cash register outside. It was nice. We'll just... Where's my tiny bit of blue? Okay, so I have phthalo blue. So again, people mentioning Bob Ross. Phthalo blue. And I have cobalt. Actually, I want cobalt for this. Cobalt's more like a royal blue. Phthalo blue is more of a watery sky blue. Especially if you watch Bob Ross, he loves it for that. Okay. So I don't need a ton of those. You guys can kind of see I've got mostly my burnt sienna, and I'm putting the other colors out there because I like having the choice. Ooh, wow, that's so crusty and gross. Oh, can I get this whole thing off? Oh, wow, look at that whole nasty old thing. Hee I might need a probe. Anyway. There we go. Oh, cadmium yellow, are you dead? Oh, guys, I bought a dud. Yep. This tube is entirely dry. Oh, well. It is so satisfying when it all comes off in one big old chunko. But, oh, cadmium yellow. We hardly knew ye. Alright. So that guy off the side. This is why I bought the sampler pack, because any of them could have been dried out. And look, boom, yellow. So, that's okay. So I paid 25 cents for an empty tube of paste. Somehow, I don't think I'm going to lose sleep over that one. Alright. Oh, this one's a translucent. Yeah, using it anyway. Let's see what happens. Alright. Boom. Okay. So, let's see if we can make a light tone. I'm so amused by this sparkle. I don't care. How close can I get? You can see there's like a texturing to it. It's so it's not glitter. It's not growed, but it's gonna add a little potential shimmer, which I ain't mad. I almost feel like I should have started with a base of white instead of a base of brown, but meh. Wow, the white has a real texture to it, so it's changing the consistency of the paint. Which actually, for a base coat, I don't mind. Having the whole thing have some texture to it, especially because the little dinosaur already kind of does, I find fun. Yeah, I might need to go bonkers with the white. Oh, this is fun. Let's add a little bit of yellow. Also, palette knife, right? Like, I remember spending so much time ruining paintbrushes as a kid trying to mix paints with my brush. No, palette knife. Yep, we're gonna have to get weird with that white. Let's go. Pearl Sparkle. Pearl Sparkle, you're my new friend. My new favorite pony. Like, there has to be a My Little Pony named Pearl Sparkle. Has to. Yeah. Yeah, there is no way to know. We have some information about their skin, like, texturing and stuff, but yeah, you don't know what color they were. Were they sparkly like vampires in the sun? Yeah, they were. Okay, I'm already liking where this color is going. I love this sparkle, you guys. This was the best idea. I'm so glad I didn't get a tube of regular white. What a loss that would have been. That's not fun at all. Oh, I love this color. Okay, I'm going to lighten this up a little bit and maybe add some blue, but this is already... there, get some sunlight on it. That's already moving in a good direction for like a base color. You know, because then it gives me room to highlight with whites, which is pretty good. You know, I can still pop it up a little bit, but having a rich color underneath that implies, you know, a living animal, blood vessels and what have you, is not bad. Ooh, I like this. Okay, so at this point it's just sparkly burnt sienna with like the tiniest bit of yellow. So let's add just the tiniest little smidge of blue and take it in a slightly different, less pink direction. More yellow though, definitely. Ooh, not that much. Woo! And I have my red out in case I need to bring it back in the red direction. Or of course I just add more burnt sienna, but you know. A little more blue. Wow, it looks like a ton of blue. We'll see where that ends up. I don't really want it to be green, but it could be. Because that's one of those things, like, anytime people make theropods green, like there's green scaly, I'm like, I need to see this theropod. Show me any theropod that exists still that's green. And of course, that still doesn't mean they couldn't have been, but it's not as much. Okay, now we've got that going into, yeah, this is becoming more of a richer, like, clay brown. Ooh, I like this color. Alright. So we're now, it's a little yellow, still, but not too shabby. And my color pickup for this camera does tend towards yellow, so you guys, from what I can see through my screen, is more of a little bit on the yellower hue than it is an actual. So from my point of view, this is just a little pinker, but that's not bad. But I think we need more sparkle. Let's go. Let's rock this sparkle. When in doubt, more sparkle. I am so glad I picked up that tube. Gosh, I have a lot of it too. There is only winning in that tube. Alright, I'm going to pump it up one more time with white, with sparkle, and then we're done. And what a distance I've come from my original burnt sienna, right? We've moved really far from that original dark brown, which is fantastic. But I love it as a base. Burnt sienna is just a good base color. Okay, everything about this is good. I want to make it... Let's hit it with a little blue. Ooh, I might have cooled it off too much with the blue. Well, I gotta finish mixing it. I'm trying to call that score a little too soon. Give this a second to finish off. This is making a nice quantity too, because I hate it when you have the exact right color and then you run out. You can work with it, but you know, don't want that too much. Yeah, ooh, I really cooled that off. I'm going to add a little bit of my burnt sienna back in, actually. I think I added a little too much blue. I want it to be a little warmer, and I don't think I have to add my straight up red to get what I want. I just need a little more warmth in there. Alright. That's a nice color. That's a nice color. So, what we've got here, it's definitely a little darker and richer than, like, my natural skin color. Great. This is a dinosaur. I don't need it to be matching anything specific in life. And so, this is obviously very dry. You can see how much it's standing up. So, I'm going to add a smidgy of water to one side of it. Because I I wanted to coat this, but not be, like, sitting up in mountain peaks. So... And again, I'm not mixing with my paintbrush because we are civilized people. The texture from the sparkles is endlessly funny. Alright, that softened that up real nice. Yeah. Other than my one dud cadmium yellow, so far these paints have been absolutely entirely what I wanted. Okay. So, now let's put some on the model. So I will start with big colors, so I'm probably going to make the inside of the mouth like a super dark red, just to start with. The whole outside's going to be this color. I'm not going to paint the back, because of course that's what I affixed to the board, so I don't need that painted. And then I can go through and do detail colors. So let's see how well this actually sticks to the plastic. This is the big unknown for me, having not tried to paint this type of 3D model. I usually just like them in their natural plastic. So, bloop. Well, right off the bat, I will... Oh my god, the sparkles are great. I can tell you I'm probably going to need more paint because the sanding job I did makes the material really absorbent. And I can tell that it's drinking up the paint nicely, actually. Like, that's a good thing. But be mindful of that. Oh, like right off the bat, that's a good color. Look at this guy. And I don't know if the shimmer is going to come through the camera, but I'm really happy. Okay. I want it in the nose, but not filling the nose too much. So an interesting, not great thing, I guess, about the sparkles is they add so much texture that I can see my brush strokes really, really clearly. I was hoping it would smooth out and soak in a little bit better than that, but that's addressable. I can sand it. Real carefully, but you can. Yeah, ooh, I love that. Okay. Let me add some more water. I just realized that my microphone's actually really far away, so let me move that a little closer for getting the little palette knife sounds. Alright. Lightened up that whole thing. Wow, it's so shimmery. That's so funny. Ooh, that might be too thin. Oh, well, then we add layers. I ain't mad. It's okay if I get some on the teeth and things like that. I'm going to go over everything else. This is just the base. Normally, you wouldn't really want to have, like, sparkles in a base layer, but whatever. This actually, as I'm putting it on, is very bronzy. The final tone has a really nice copper bronze to it, which is pretty nice. Yeah, isn't that just... Yeah, I love this. This came out really nice. And the fun thing with the base colors is, like, I'm gonna paint over a lot of it, but that's always gonna be what sort of peeks through now, which is a very friendly color, which I'm glad to see. So. I'm trying to get all those little edges around the teeth where I don't need to like specifically hit the teeth, but I want gums, I guess, lips, dino lips, to be my base. Alright. And because I'm doing it this way, I'm holding it up, I'm gonna have like fingerprints around the base of the neck, and I don't care. I'll just get those later. Let's talk about the part that no one's looking at. If I really want to, and this is actually going back to the idea of feathers. So when I have this mounted on its board, you know, so I've got this whole part would be attached to the board, I can actually put like a ring of feathers around the back, or, you know, fuzz around the back. So if you can imagine a vulture or a condor, they have like a ring of feathers low on their neck. I could put that against the board, and that would actually look pretty rad. So I could do just a terrible job painting it, and meh. It'll still be fabulous. Yeah, no, that's a good color. And so the gray is still showing through a little bit. I'm probably going to have to layer this up. So I want this to dry a little bit, and then I'll put some more on. But as an intro coating, it looks much more like an alive thing. Oh man, look at how funny the mouth looks compared to the rich outer color. Oh, here, while this is setting up, trying to get extra paint off of that. Oh, I really like this color. Be a good nail polish color. Let's see about getting a deep red for the inside of the mouth. Just making a little room on my palette. I've got my main supply of color over there. Is that all the paper towel I got? Seriously? Ah, be right back. Paper towel. Alright, I returned. Successful. With some paper towel. Alright. So, wiping part of my palette. Giving myself a spot here. And then you... probably... Yeah, come back. As clean as you're gonna get. Alright, so for the inside of the mouth... you know, black is going to be my main thing. So let's see if this is actually black or if it's another dried out hellscape. Not looking good. Is there anybody in here? Well, that might be another dud. Let's see. Because there's a lot of something in here, but no, I think it's all dry. Well, here, let me... Because it feels like it might be soft down here. So let's get weird and cut through this. I have my wire cutters right up here. I told you I'm still getting used to this, my mount above there. So is there any in here? Nope, that's 100% dried out. Anything? No. Nuggets. Alright, that's 2. That's another 25 cents. Down the tubes. Alright, so do I have... Where did I put my sampler? Oh, you guys, I don't have a black in here. I have a red and a blue. Okay, so I cannot do an actual black, which is what I wanted. Too bad, so sad. So instead, I have a burnt umber. Let's see if that one is smushy. Uh-oh. Is there anybody home? Nope, I think my burnt umber... Yep. Oh, that one was a whopping 10 cents. Ah, okay. So unfortunately, my darkest colors all turned out to be duds. Which is not great. So, obviously, the insides of mouths are actually pinky red. They're just in shadow. And so I'm just going to go in that direction instead. So I think we could start with my burnt sienna as my base again. And instead, this time, I'll start adding red. And just red. And we'll kind of go in that direction. So it goes. Alright. And then how clean are you? That's coming off. My water is sparkly. Cystic dino. Yeah, no, I could go all white. It could have a pearl sparkle tongue. Man. Okay, doing a dinosaur with leucism. Let's talk about that for a minute. Take some paprika and make it with white. I could make my own pigments. Because leucism... Okay, for those who aren't aware, leucism is a different pigment malformation than being albino. Albino is kind of a total lack of melanin. You get the red eyes, stuff like that. Leucism is piebald, is another inaccurate term that gets bandied around, but you have parts that are white, parts that are not. So if you have a human being who is mostly white pigment, but they don't have the red eyes, or they've got parts that have some color, that's more likely leucism, things like that. I am not a doctor. I can't tell you everything about these things, but that's, there's your 2-second explanation. And so if we did something with leucism, we could just show some of those white areas and I can get away with that. I think I'm not knowledgeable enough to do that in a way that is classy, so I'm not going to aim for that specifically, but I love the idea of specifically bringing in pigment differences, or having a amelanistic dinosaur versus a hypermelanistic dinosaur. Anyway, that was a good tangent. Now let's stick with having the inside be more of a fleshy red. Like a nice liver red. Something... I'm just gonna go with all of this. Blap. Yeah, because the inside of my mouth is actually pinky again. Like, it's funny the things that you think of as dark just because there's not light there, not because the pigments are dark. So, as long as this looks like an organ color or an internal color, that's fun. Actually, this is already going in a direction I think is pretty okay. Let's add some blue. I don't have a ton of blue left out, but I can acquire more. Yes, no, I'm there with you, 100%. Let's add some blue. Do I have more? Yeah, this is one I have tons of. Cobalt blue. We could just make the whole thing blue. And that wouldn't be a problem at all. Ah, this is still sticky. I cleaned off a lot of that, but... Bloop. But yeah, for something that is not blue, I went through all of my blue. It's fun. Pigments are weird. Like, you want those really rich, pure, high colors. Like, I'm not going to be able to mix a hot pink, but things that are organic or depthful kind of colors, you can do with, like, mixing 7 different colors to get them. Yeah, this is still trending on the orange. Oh, no, I found a little bit of blue there. A little bit more. And blue, in almost all things that you're mixing it with, you have to add only a little bit at a time. Blue tends to overpower kind of everything. Yeah, that's deepening up. That's already, but it's okay. It's an okay color. You know, it's still trending a little towards orange. I think I might add just a smidgy more blue. But I'm actually feeling this. I'm sad about that burnt umber, almost more than the black. Because that would have given me a lot of the good dark tones, but it's okay. Alright, that's not a bad color. So you guys can see kind of the two together. So this one's definitely got the red meat color, kind of looks like barbecue sauce, to the much lighter you know, skin tone color. So let's get this all in a pile if I can. Okay, and then add a smidgy of water. Not a lot, this one isn't as dry. My water has sparkles in it. So funny. Oh, delightful. Yeah, that's a nice soft. All right, no, I'm not as delighted with this color as I am with the outer color, but honestly, I mean, this was so utterly delightful. Oh, and it's nice and dry already. A little tacky. I don't know if you can. No, you can't. I'm covered in glitter. Anyway. Okay, so I'm using a different brush for a couple reasons. I could just keep using the other one, but this will fit in there a little bit better. And it's nice to have different brushes. Feels fancy. Okay. And then, you guys might remember, I didn't bother trying to sand the absolute back of the mouth. So I don't know how the pigment's going to stick back there. But it's the back of the mouth, so if it sucks, meh. I don't care. So, bap. Hey, welcome. Alright. So now I have to be slightly careful about slopping paint on compared to the first time around, because I don't really want to get a bunch of that darker color outside, but, you know. Oh, what an interesting color. You know, I actually, in hindsight, I think this could do some with some lightening up, but I'm not going to worry about that for the base. I don't mind having the base be a really dark tone for the inside of the mouth, and then I can add lighter stuff. Oh, it does kind of look like peanut butter and jelly. Ooh, yes. I was going for like 2 different barbecue sauces, but I think your analogy is better. And this is the color I think I'm going to actually try to get between the teeth. You know, because right now I've been kind of just going next to them. But there's no reason to do that. I gotta commit. I gotta get all that gray plastic covered. I didn't thin down this pigment as much as I did the outer, and I'm glad, because I don't really want to mess around in here too much. I kind of want to get it coated and spend all my time on the outside parts. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, okay. Right? And you guys understand that I'm using pure pearl sparkle for the teeth. Just, like, there's no way to improve on that sort of majesty. It's just going to be pearl sparkle teeth. And I'm so delighted at that. That's going to be like the last thing I do. Um, but I am so glad I have this ridiculous pearl sparkle paint that I found. Sometimes you get lucky. I gotta tell people, if you've come in for my taxidermy streams, you know, it's gross. This one, although I have been called out, an earlier part involved a sort of gross looking mass of steel wool. But it was inorganic gross. So if I could make it longer, say nothing organically gross today, or fleshy? I don't know. But yeah, today nothing gross. And the taxidermy on Saturdays is still going to be mostly not gross for a little while I'm model building. But only mostly. I was actually surprised how much I had to have that skinned body on camera. So, you know. I'm glad I hedged my bets with the mostly. Alright. Getting along the edge of the tongue is actually kind of a challenge because the top of the mouth gets in my way. Oh well, it's not a huge. Ooh, I totally just got some on the teeth. Oh well, I'll deal with that later. Oh yeah, this color's real good. Like, once it's in the right spot, it's remarkable how much it kind of works. A tarred and feathered dinosaur. That's a couple levels of meta. So I'm gonna say maybe, because there's a lot of humans in the world and they're very creative. But that one, you might have to just take the crown for that. I've definitely seen people be feathered dinosaurs. Because you can get weird with that really quick and it's fun. I just got someone's teeth. Okay. Okay, I think I've got... Yeah. So that looks like... The lighting's kind of bad from holding it up here, but the, I think I've got the hole inside the mouth. If I hold it back here... Oh wait, there's a little sunlight. Yeah. That's not too shabby. That's not too bad. So, actually, I'm gonna get a smaller brush and just hit between the teeth. Because I think I'm gonna want the pink gums. I'm not gonna want just a line of white around there. Yeah, let me grab a smaller brush. See, Jacket, your problem is you have to find the right crowd to hang with, because if you're at, like, a convention, you know, Comic-Con or things like that, you're in costumes, and you can put a lot of effort, and then you can get awards for it. So, if you want to jump into that costume world, trust me, there are people who will laud you. Gotta find your weirdos. Oop, that's a cat hair. Zap. Alright. So I'm just trying to put a little bit at the base of the teeth. You can see how it like immediately makes the teeth pop out. And so I'm not being super careful yet, but I'm just trying to... I want to cover up as much of the gray as I really can. Which actually is an argument for painting the teeth right away, just so I can get the gray covered, but I will argue with myself about that more as I work on this. People do it. You should make chainmail for a costume. There's a whole market for chainmail, attire, and accoutrement. If you have the patience to make chainmail, hashtag not it. I got a lot of patience, you guys, but I don't think I have the patience for chainmail. Let's see. I can't believe how much I like this just having the teeth surrounded by red. Like, I'm doing a sloppy bad job, but... I don't know, Jacket, that sounds like a problem that can be solved with money. There are many problems in the world. Many of them are difficult, but some of them are just solved with money. Now, getting the money is its own problem. But... I haven't decided yet, so I slopped a little along here, so you can kind of see these back teeth are kind of partially covered. I might want an outer gum that shows, but I don't know. I haven't committed to that idea yet, so I don't think I'm going to jump on that. I think I'll just get this inner parts done. Yeah, no, again, money. Money is the limiter for many things. Well, we'll see. For now, just get through it, and then later, weird crap with chainmail. So I spent a ton of time sanding this, and it's crazy the difference between how the paint gets picked up by the areas I sanded versus the ones I didn't. And, like, I didn't sand a lot around the teeth because I didn't want to file the teeth down and have them just disappear. Which was a good idea. I'm glad I did that. But that means that the paint sits funny. And you can really see the texturing of the 3D print layers. Which, I figured might happen, but it's interesting to now actually see the results. So. Oh, wow, yeah. Being able to actually forge full armor, so you do the chainmail and the plate. That would be fun. Well, if you want something that's potentially more affordable and takes less, blacksmithing stuff, you can forge plastic armor and do, like, Stormtrooper stuff. World of Warcraft mock armor. There's a whole world for faux armor made of significantly lighter materials, because, of course, the downside of forging full plate is nobody actually wants to wear full plate for any length of time. It's real heavy. But, if you make stuff out of plastic, potentially you can then just, go grocery shopping in it. Hashtag yes, I would do that. I'm trying to think of the weirdest thing I've ever worn grocery shopping. Definitely Renaissance attire. I've gone to many a mire wearing Ren Fair gear. I think I've worn elf ears grocery shopping. Okay, I've slapped all over these teeth, but overall I'm liking having just more definition. So that's okay. Let's do some upper jaw, and then I'm gonna do a second layer of my Amazeballs pearl. Oh, so you would need a squire. There you go. Oh yeah, no, Stormtrooper outfit right now is actually very topical. Yeah, so no, I think we all have a plan. So, Jacket Deity, we need to get you scrap plastic that you and a heat gun that you can mold into full armor. And then we all hit Jewel or Meyer. I see zero problem with this plan. Alright. So going back to comparing extinct theropods with extant theropods, not a lot of birds with teeth these days, so I can't compare that sort of dentation, which is too bad. I'd like to know kind of how to set that up. Yeah, full plate would help with dem zombies. Although it would slow you down. It's that classic cost reward. Do you want to be slow in the face of the zombies, or do you want all of the physical protection? I'm going to continue my vote of let's just skip the zombie apocalypse. We've had enough apocalypses lately. Vote that one off the table. Right. Yeah, classic zombie stories are a metaphor. So what are they a metaphor for? And that'll tell you what kind of defense you need from that metaphor. Because voodoo zombies are a metaphor for eternal slavery. So plate wouldn't help you. But, you know, a lot of modern zombies are a metaphor for disease or capitalism, depending on what franchise you're looking at. I mean, yeah, so here you are, you're in the zombie apocalypse, and you found your niche. You know what your job would be. You're the, sit back and supply everybody else who decides to be more of the frontline person. That's, oh, what's the word? Delegation. I just heard one of my cats sneeze. Cat sneezes continue to be one of the cutest sneezes. This area I'm gonna have to shade later. Not right now. Okay. Yeah, this looks like immensely better. The more gray gets covered, the more this is coming around to looking like a critter and not just a, 3D print. Of course, it'll always just be a 3D print, but, we aspire. Sorry, I gotta stay in camera view for you guys. I love this color. It's dried to like a really great bronze. Not what I had originally necessarily pictured, but I'm very happy with it. Sure. Yeah, fun doesn't stop in college, so getting into chainmail post-college sounds good to me. And it's just a satisfying substance. Like, picking up a big, heavy piece of chainmail is a cool tactile experience. Alright. I have a few back teeth over here, I think. Oh, no, okay, no. I have a whole bunch. I just found this whole side I hadn't touched. Like, all of here. Oh, I got you. Okay, well. Yeah, finding more physical things to do because coronavirus is stopping us from doing all the stuff that we had totally planned on doing is a great theme, such as me sitting here talking to you guys painting a model. Thanks, coronavirus. Sorta. We adapt. Humans are pretty good at that. And we also complain the whole time we do it, which we're also good at. Oh, hey, okay. So you're now legit enough that you're getting praise from your peers. Hey man, that's something to keep in mind. Believe the feedback from those around you. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm doing. I got laid off from my museum, and now I'm here painting this sweet model from a different museum. Talking to at least a few people still associated with museums. Okay, that is addressable. I am the worst about getting fossil neck. Whenever I'm doing fossil prep, I end up getting in these absolutely ridiculous positions. So that's just getting yourself in a good habit of, wiggling, controlling your body, taking the time to listen to yourself, and figure out what you need. So, yeah. Because even this, I don't know how much you guys have been noticing, but I do wiggles occasionally. Because my lower back is what gets me when I'm doing this sort of thing. Especially because I'm trying to reach within the view of the camera. So I would probably be working here if I was doing this completely comfortably. So y'all are making me uncomfortable. But if you realize that doing something hurts you, then you just gotta find the way to do it that hurts you less. I'm not gonna be ridiculous and say it won't hurt. That may be a little too hopeful, but there's almost always a way. Yeah, doing fossil prep and getting fossil neck was kind of funny because if you figured it out soon enough, you just went and took a walk and then you were in a museum. It's cool. Oh, nice. Good for you. Oh man, I'm so glad to hear that you have this idea going. Like, and so here you are, no job, the world's on fire, but that's cool that you're working on that sort of thing. Yeah, and like for me, the only reason I even have this adorable model is because Library Rat gave it to me. I don't know if you're still on, my dear, but like people come together, people come up with ideas, and so if you're doing cool art, you should just keep doing it. Obviously, don't put yourself into debt if you can possibly help it, but maybe get kind of close. So. And that's another one. We're going back to the Waste Shed doing their sale today. Like, I kind of wish or not sale, free for all. I kind of wish I'd gone and grabbed a bunch of free stuff because it's not like I have any income right now. But I decided I actually have enough things I can get going right now. So I will leave that free stuff for others, and I hope beautiful art comes from it. And I will be greedy on a different day. I have that capacity. I'm not worried. Alright. Oh, I'm almost there. Getting between these teeth looks really kind of silly, but I'm gonna be happier when I do the detail work later. Is there anybody who's watching right now who's done mini painting? Oh, nice. Yeah, see, that's a good setup. Also, hooray for your parents. Oh, no, Chris, you do minis? Because this is like mini painting, but not mini. It's just painting, I guess. But it's triggering a lot of the same stuff. Where I have to remember to a lot of the stuff I've done with minis, but slopping on a huge tooth feels silly because if I was doing this on a little pewter mini, I'd be like half the dude. But I'm just working with different brushes on a whole different level, so it's okay. I have to keep telling myself it's okay. I may do mini painting on this stream, but that one I definitely would have the camera closer. Okay. So that's most of it. Oh man, yeah. Marbling is its own thing. Yeah, Lefty's handwriting, things with ink, and painting. You gotta be mindful. Although let me tell you, as a right-handed person, I've totally set my hand down in what I'm working on. Alright, so I love that interior color. That came out to be great. Like, look at that tongue. I might do very little to screw with that. That looks great. And this outer bronze, that shimmer, is remarkably cool. So I'm going to add another layer of my outer color, assuming it hasn't dried beyond recognition. It is a total glam T-Rex. And actually, the fact that we've hit glam means that I'm definitely now leaning more towards cassowary, and a little less vulture for my color scheme, because man. Okay, I got that moderately clean. Okay, so this dried a little bit, but I can rehydrate that pretty easily. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, that's not bad. Maybe a little bit. A little bit of water goes a real long way. Nice, nice, nice. Super satisfying. Very happy with that. Okay. I'm gonna need a taller water vessel, I think, in the future. I aimed a little low. Ah, nuts! I got some paint on the outside. Oh, it's fixable. Literally during this step. Fixed it. Okay. So, let's go for a nice second layer. So, knowing that this is going to be wall-mounted, I know the parts of it that my audience, being mostly me, oh, neat. That's a cool effect. Thank you for mentioning sandstone. Yeah. Bam. I have to make sure that I have the most pigment on the tip of the face, because that's the part that's sticking out, or right on the whole schnoz and the eyes. I don't have to worry as much about the jaw and the back, because that's not going to draw the eye as much. But, you know, you can be aware. Yeah, I know roguelikes in general. I don't particularly know Hades. I am not the biggest fan of roguelikes, but mostly because I don't like running the same content over and over and over. But Diet Gold. Sure, no, I'm not gonna fight that. Can we just call it T-Rex Gold? There's so many different, you know, variations of gold, because it's almost always an alloy when you get to mess around with it anyway. So, like, which alloy of gold would be diet gold? Alright, I'm truly, truly running out of this color. So, I want to get at least one more blush of it over all of this before I have to make a new round of it. Oh, didn't quite go as far as I wanted. Maybe I should have used some of the drying retardant, as it turns out. Oh well. Didn't. Life moves on. Alright. So that deepened the color even more. I'm pretty happy. So this is a good solid base. This is going in all manner of happy directions. I need to get black acrylic. I might just eBay some black acrylic. Ooh, anodized aluminum is fun. Let's see. Yeah, this is basically gone. Alright, well. That's not bad. So, now I've got to figure out my next round of colors. Oh, Jacket Deity, by the way, thank you very much for the follow. I'm so close to hitting 50. I'm at 44 followers now. So bug 6 of your friends. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. I need a glass of water. I keep finding myself like getting half a sentence out and then drying out. So I'm gonna get a quick glass of water and clean my workspace a little bit and pull up some reference photos and see kind of where I want to go. So hang tight. I will be back. It's 2:34, so I'll see you by 2:40. Alright, I'm back. So, I just dumped a bunch of links. I'm looking at birds that have no feathers on their face, or very little. The shoebill picture I posted does have a decent amount of feathers, but I wanted the close-up of, like, the corner of its mouth as kind of a reference. And heck yeah, cassowaries. Cassowaries are absurd. That is an animal that exists and can kill you. And it's blue. Like, maybe I will go in more of a blue direction. Birds are crazy. Birds are weirdos. And there's 3 subspecies of cassowary. So you can go, like, all blue and black, blue and yellow, or blue and red. Gosh, they're just insane critters. Yeah, everything about a cassowary is messed up. So, because I'm thinking there's blue in my future. I've got... Here, since I already had my... Yeah, Team Blue, right? Let's see if my Phthalo Blue actually exists, since I had a couple of other duds. That's not a good sign. Ow. Because I didn't mind buying the partially used tubes, but I was hoping that their lids were on enough that they didn't dry out totally. But, you know. Ooh, this one's 50 cents, you guys. I hope there's any color in here. Oh no. That's almost certainly dead. Where I put it? I'll get that later. Anything? No. Alright, this is the first one where I'm actually pretty bummed. I really wanted some classic Phthalo Blue. So, but I think there was one in my sample pack. Yeah, okay. Let's try this guy. Let's see what this looks like. How different is this blue from my cobalt blue? Ooh. That's a good blue. Alright. So we've got a really deep blue and more of a lighter royal blue. Alright. Guys, I'm on Team Blue here. I'm thinking, now that we have this great bronzy base, which I love, and I want to still have this show through, I'm not going to completely coat it, I can accent with big areas of blue. And like with a cassowary, the area around the eyes and up to the nose is black. I don't have black, as we've learned. So I won't do that. But maybe what I can do is keep the bronze gold schnoz and then start moving, you know, back this way into some blues and start to get weird with that. And then one of the reference pictures I have up right now for the cassowary, which is very cute. It does not look like it would eviscerate you with your feet, with its feet, but it would. But they've got like these red wattles, and obviously I can't add wattles to this. I'm not going to be gluing additional parts on here, but we've got these like skin folds, and so then this goes back to mini painting too, where maybe these raised skin folds will actually, I can highlight these in like red. So the deeper areas are going to be more of the blue bronze. I really wish I had some black. I may have to break down and actually buy something new. I know the hardships of my life. Going back to the conversation we were having before for jacket deity. Like, I don't have any income right now, so I don't want to be blowing a ton of money, but something so basic as a tube of paint, I'll survive. Yeah, no, definitely, that is correct. Don't go anywhere near a cassowary. Cassowaries will kill you. I have been personally stalked by a cassowary in a situation where I was 100% safe. I was at the Brookfield Zoo in Illinois, and we were standing in front of the cassowary enclosure and we're like, where's the bird? It's a huge bird. Why can't I see this bird? It was right here. Like, it had stalked through the undergrowth in its own very forested enclosure and was right up against the enclosure. Yeah, no, seriously. And I was like, oh my god! Like, that bird definitely wanted to eat me, or at least, again, rip out my guts with its feet. Good for it. The loving legacy of the dinosaurs lives on 65 million years after the Cretaceous. Okay. I'm thinking thoughts. Because, and again, looking at like the cassowary or the sandhill crane, the colors aren't like their whole face. So it's not like, you know, I would make this entire plane one color. I could. Obviously, I can do anything I want. But I want to accentuate the big rad eye ridges. I think I want the schnoz to be a specific color. And a lot of animals have darker pigments around their eyes. That's just useful. It stops light reflection, things like that. Or conversely, if you have a light area around your eye, that also accentuates and makes your eye look bigger for various and sundry reasons that critters do that. There's a lot. Where I had a pencil. This is already a thing I've done. There it is. Man. Okay. Because the blue is gonna, like, just be a bomb. When I put it out here, it's gonna be crazy. Okay, Jacket, thanks for hanging out, man. It's good to talk to you. I will see you next time. But I have to use the, I'm gonna use I'm gonna use a ton of blue. It's gonna be blue. It's gonna be crazy. But I want to be thinky about it. So, okay. Top down. I love this bronze. I don't want to screw with that too much. But what if, because there's some texturing here. What if we start the blue, like, right between the eyes? So, you know, I've got these big ridges here. So let's say, I don't know if you guys can see my marks, but I'm going to put some marks. I'm going to start the blue here, and there's a widening, basically a sagittal crest. If I shine the light, you can kind of see the sagittal crest on the top of this thing's skull. And so if I follow that kind of around here, then I'll make this blue. These ridges will, at the moment, they'll stay bronze. I think I might add some other highlight there, but we'll start that out with the bronze. And then maybe have no blue here. Let me go back to my picture of a cassowary. Personally, I'm leaning towards southern cassowary style, for those who are looking at the different subspecies. Because it has a lot of the blue starting kind of behind its jaw. You know, behind the eyes, behind the jaw. And so, oh, Andreas! Oh my god! Hey, man! Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. Nice to see you. Yeah, I was talking to Endora a little bit the other day. Please tell her I appreciate the share. But, yeah, man, I haven't seen you in forever. Are you actually back in Sweden? Or are you still hanging out in the States? Right now I'm trying to figure out how much blue to add to this. The answer is going to be a lot. It's just going to be a lot. Oh, thanks. Alright, I'm going to have the blue connect to the bottom. There's a ridge here, so let's have this be blue kind of along there. And let's say behind the jaw. And so I'm actually changing my mind. I'm going to have some blue on the jaw because that's fun. And I'm pro fun. So let's do a partial blue, not blue jaw. So if I follow along here, kind of an interesting swoop. then up along here. Okay, so what this will give me... Again, I don't think you guys can see my marks. I'm trying to be a little light. Yeah. Oh, cool. I have only been to Sweden once. When I was fairly young, a friend of mine got married. But I vote yes, Sweden. I loved everything that I saw. I don't love fish, and my hosts were feeding us a lot of fish. But dilled potatoes were great. And yeah, no, I think she'd be pretty happy potentially over in Sweden, but you guys better have some really cool fish for her to study. For those who don't know, Andorra is, she loves fish. She is an absolute consummate scientist and studies aquatic life. Her focus is fish, but she will study aquatic environments more broadly. So luckily, Sweden is kind of known for that. So I think it'd be a beautiful country to host such a fantastic human being. All right, let's see. All right, I'm starting to have a plan here. This is starting to look like a something. Okay, so starting from up here is going to be blue. I'm going to do like a blue bottom jaw and a whole back of the head here, and then blue starting here as a point, and then going over the head. And so I'll still have this beautiful bronzy rostrum, because I just love it. I don't want to lose a lot of that color. I'm really happy with it. But we'll have more of the cassowary look going towards the back. And that's very exciting. So, oh, I forgot to clean my palette. So let me take a moment. For anybody who has ever played the Bob Ross board game, so not just watching his wonderful shows, but the board game, cleaning your palette is a thing. And, like, if you're actually using paints, it's a thing. It's very, very important. A lot of people, to do a palette, just have, like, a sheet of plexiglass, because it's really easy to wipe off. So this little sheet of plastic is really cheap, but it has the convenience of being soft, and I can drop it on the floor and neither injure myself nor break it. So, you know. Benefits. Alright. Yeah, I had let those dry out, which is fine. I actually intended to, but it's kind of weird to get up. Alrighty. That's a good cover band. Alright. So that cleans off a lot of this older shmoo. Shmoo, of course, being a technical term. I already have a couple blues out, and they're not totally dry, so that's good. I'm going to need a lot of blue, though, so actually, let's get weird with blue. Yeah. So I've got just a ton of this beautiful, rich, sort of a phthalo blue. Yeah, no, it's a phthalo blue, more or less. And then my lighter, creamier cobalt. Man, yeah, this one doesn't want to open. I'm going to have to really go through here with like a pin and clean that out. Okay, so I'm giving myself a lot of paint this time. I was being a little what's the opposite of generous? Stingy? Before, but more of that. And of course, it is time to bring out more Pearl Sparkle because I love this as an additive. I was really, really happy with it before, so let's add just a ton of Pearl Sparkle. So that was fun. And then my red dried out and my yellow dried out, so let's get a little more red. I'm going to move my red over here. And that's another one, like, why do I need red? Well, actually, because you kind of always need another pigment. So. But let's stick with the blues right now, mostly to start with. Let's just make it kind of pure and weird. Okay, so here's a question I don't know. If someone knows the answer to this, or wants to find it out, I'd appreciate it. In nature, blue pigment almost doesn't exist. Most of the blues that we see in natural critters, plants, whatever, is actually a weird light refraction. It is not a pigment. So if you take a blue butterfly, like a blue morpho, and throw them in a blender, you will get a gray powder. Whereas if you take a monarch butterfly and you throw them in a blender, you'll get an orange powder. Because they're actually orange pigmented. So is a cassowary a color refraction? Because I can't imagine it is, because it's mushy skin folds. So do cassowaries actually produce a true blue pigment? There's your ultra nerdy question, if anybody feels like hunting that one down. Otherwise, I will look that up later and find an answer. Okay, so that's reasonably clean. I mean, this thing will never be clean again, but I want it moderately cleanish. Okay, so I definitely want a ton of this. So this is the phthalo blue type, and it's fun. If you thin it out, you can see how it gets like a lot of watery, almost green undertones. Like it basically almost immediately looks like a little painting of water. Which is just, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous color. Like, I can honestly probably just put straight phthalo blue on here and I'd be pretty happy. But straight phthalo blue wouldn't have glitter in it. So we're going to add my unexpected highlight of this stream, our Pearl Sparkle. Nice, hearty quantity of it. Oh, Pearl Sparkle, you're so good. Do you mind? I don't know if you guys can hear my cat. Yeah, thank you. One of my cats is a total dork, and he likes to roll around in his litter if I've recently completely refreshed the box, and so I scrubbed the litter boxes this week and gave him completely fresh new litter, and so he rolls around in it because he's a freak. So, cats, man. Why do we love them? The answer is weird coevolution stuff and toxoplasmosis. Okay. That's just a great color. Oh my gosh. I'm not adding anything else to this right now. I don't know how much this is going to show up for you guys, but this is a absolutely magical color. It's got the glow to it that phthalo blue does. So I'm really glad I had that little sample. And adding the ridiculous sparkle lightened it up a little bit, so it's kind of like how adding sand to things, or not sand, salt is a flavor enhancer. It's just the white's been a color enhancer, and you can see the pearl essence, so that's really cool. Okay, yeah, no, that seems like a link to follow. Shiny bird dinosaur already has my attention. I'm assuming that's cassowaries. Alright, so we're just gonna be brave and bold. I'm gonna get my big brush back out. Oh, I probably should have changed that water. Oh well, didn't. Because, like, that's orange. I'm gonna change that water. Alright, I'll be back in just a moment. It's too gross. It's too much. I should have... I meant to. I should have cleaned my brushes completely and changed my water. So, my sparkly water. Alright. 10 seconds. Be right back. That might have been more like 20 seconds. I don't know. Oh, personas. Okay. So we're just going to do it. I'm just going to put a ton of blue on here, and we're going to see how gorgeous or not that is. But my assumption is gorgeous. I see no reason why this would be a failure. I'm making this a little thin to start with. I'm planning on doing multiple layers, so we'll probably see some of the bronze come through. But it's okay. Alright. Ready? Ready to get blue? Is this auto-focusing? Is that one of the reasons why this is being weird? I wonder if I can turn that off while it's active. Because I think that's part of my... Oh no, autofocus is off. So, okay, never mind. It's just not a great camera. That's pretty much in focus. Blap. Blue. Blue. Yeah, I'd call that cassowary blue. I would buy that tube of pigment. Oh, and I like how the bronze shows through. I don't know how much the camera's going to pick this up, but having that rich brown yellow underneath is causing the shimmer to be more of a bronze shimmer through the blue. So that undercoat is already paying off as definitely the right color. I liked it already. This is just getting better. Oh, I really like this. Oh my goodness. This is also solidifying my desire to get feathers to mount on the mounting board around the base. I think that would be pretty strong on this guy. Okay. So I might do, edging will be a little different once I get the basic colors on. But having this unforgiving blue is totally satisfying. It's nice too, because I don't care if there's like odd edges or whatever, because, it's an animal. They have funny pigment edges. I have funny pigment edges. I'm a proud animal. Yeah, it's a little different than if I was doing mini painting or like painting like a mech or something, because those you want hard edges. But I think less so for this. Having the little point on the head looks like an old villain costume. Oh, who's the villain from Wow, no, my brain just went totally blank on that. Flash Gordon is the name of the hero. What's the name of the villain from Flash Gordon? Wow, there's old trivia. Anyway, it reminds me of that character. That's such a great color. Wow. That's so great. It's so ridiculous. Alright. Oh, this is such a great color. It's funny, I actually like it thinner. I have a couple areas where I put it on pretty thick, but then you can't see the bronze underneath. So my original plan was to have it like super thick, but now I'm sort of second guessing that. Not sure if I love that. Not sure that I don't love it, but I think putting this blue on any part of this thing is a commitment. So I gotta plan. Oh, this is fun. Yeah, cassowary was the way to go. Like, this would have looked classy if I'd kept it with, like, vulture colors. But who needs classy? Need a little water. And obviously I want this to be symmetrical. Most critters are symmetrical. But most critters are also not perfectly symmetrical, so having it be a little off is fine. So, yeah, like I've kind of highlighted different areas here differently, and I actually might not mess with that. Because it's not wrong. It can't be wrong. It's a dinosaur. You know, so on this side I've got this kind of point, and on this side I don't. And I love that. I actually like having those be a little different. I don't think I'm going to screw with that. Alright, let's get this jaw. Oh, it's so fun. This is neat. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll do a point on this side, but I'll do it lower. Having the pearlescence in here is just fun, too. That actually does evoke the feeling of feathers. You know, not that there's not iridescent scales on reptiles. Like, obviously, that's totally a thing. But it also makes me think of shimmery feathers, which works real nicely for a theropod. You know, I guess it makes sense that my paints are going to be drying out a little faster. Not this particular one, but just overall, since they were open paints anyway. So there's probably just less moisture in them to begin with. It's alright. Honestly, this guy looks like a superhero. This is a very, like, superhero color of blue. Which, I'm sure cassowaries would agree with. Anders, no, the head's just it. I was given this cute little 3D printed model of a head by a friend, and so that's all I have. But over on the windowsill, I have the mount that I'm going to put it on, so I'm going to mount it like a deer head. So you know how people have, like, the bust of the deer coming out of the wall? So I have the mount for it. Like my trophy tiny T-Rex. Yeah, this 3D print was printed at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. They had a maker's space exhibit. And every day people could come and 3D print things, but a lot of times people would not come back, or they wouldn't wait long enough to see the whole print job because it takes a while, and they wouldn't necessarily come back and get the item that they printed. And so a friend of mine who actually worked at the museum would raid the bin of unclaimed things at the end of the week and had a bunch of these fun prints that, you know, the original people who pushed the button didn't necessarily want to keep. And I've got this, and I've got a couple of 3D scanned alligator skulls, which are very, very cute. What bird would match up at the neck for a taxidermy T-Rex? I mean, anything with a... actually, I have that link for a shoe bill that I posted a little bit ago. Probably a shoe bill, because it'd have to be something that has a big, sturdy neck that's used to holding up a lot of weight. And so I think shoebills are a good one for kind of that structure. Okay. So check that out. Right? Bam. That's an exciting animal. That's cool. I might... no, I might keep it the thing. I got that chin. I'm sort of second-guessing my villain eye crest here, but I might instead put additional colors up here. But yeah, that superhero blue is very cassowary. I'm very happy with that overall. But what this also does mean is I need to add some more colors. I really do wish I had the black. I keep lamenting black, but I don't have any, so that was my life. But we need to do something to make those eyes stand out. I could go for reds or whites pretty readily. Oh, nuts! I managed to get fingerprint stains on the lip. I'll have to figure that out. Oh, the Phantom! Yeah, no, there's another good superhero. Well, I mean, the Phantom is sort of a superhero. Man. Okay, then I think I'm gonna darken this up. I like where it shines through, but I also like where it's really, really blue, so I'm gonna darken parts of this. I have plenty of paint, so I might as well make the base really dark, really rich. And like, especially under here, I want these colors to be really deep. And then I'll pause and let this dry a little bit, and I'll go grab the mounting board so you guys can see it. The stain has continued to deepen in color, and I love it. It looks so good. Thank you, Iron Acetate, for being just kind of the best. So something I've really noticed is I want that rich blue, but the areas where it was thinner, it definitely tended towards a really nice green. So I actually might turn part of this into more of a wash and try doing ooh, yeah, no, I could make black pigment with if I just break a fountain pen. Ooh. Maybe we can get weird with that. Oh, I like this. Okay, so this is... Yeah, this looks like a superhero T-Rex. Which is pretty cool. Alright, I'm gonna pause. And let me grab... While that has a second to set, let me show you guys how the mount is looking, because I love it. Look at this color. This deepened up way more than I thought it was going to. This is a real nice color. So for people who weren't here at the beginning of the stream when I stained this, I stained this piece of wood. This is just, you know, a piece of craft wood from a Michael's craft store. So this is like a little piece of pine. And I just stained it with iron acetate. So all I did is I took a steel wool fine scrubby and I soaked it in vinegar. And the acid acted on the iron and created iron acetate. And when you put it on wood, it doesn't create a dye. It doesn't sit a pigment on top of the wood. Instead, the iron acetate reacts with the tannins that are present in the wood and actually fundamentally change them. It causes a chemical reaction in the wood. And so this was originally, I wish I had kept like a picture or something, but this was a really light, whitish yellow pine. And yeah, like that classic weathered, rich look. Because the acid weathers it. The acid does the same effect that leaving a bench out on your deck will do, or your deck itself. You know, your deck is going to go from being that nice fresh wood color to gray by the next season. And this really enriched up. I'm just absolutely happy with this. And so this will be the base for this guy. And now they go together. You know, this is going to recede back into the background a little bit more. And then you know, the blue and possibly feathers will come out of that, so that's looking really rich. So yeah, if anybody has a quick stain job you need to do and you have a bit of steel wool around and some vinegar, you can just do it. And I love it. And this is almost dry. It's still cool. You know how you can tell it's still wet just by the temperature difference, so there's a little bit to that still. But yeah, at this point, I'm going to fix this guy to the backboard once he's basically totally painted. Because I'm more and more thinking feathers. I think feathers will have to happen. Or some sort of fuzz. Okay. So, I messed up a little bit and I got some blue on his lip, which I didn't want. And so, let's see if we can pick that up, actually. Can I just... Man, there's still some red color in that. No, looks like it's dried enough that I can't just pick it up. If I'd noticed it sooner and thought of this, both are required, then I might have been able to get that up, which is too bad. So I might have to make a new color to put down there, which is not the worst. And then, Mega, going back to your thought with a black pen, I don't have just ink, which would be easiest thing. I mean, I have Sharpie. And then, yeah, and I just have, like, ballpoint pens. I could just sacrifice a ballpoint pen, but I'd want to do that in a different... Okay, has anybody tried mixing acrylics with ballpoint pen ink? Is that the worst idea? Sounds like it might be the worst idea, but I would try it. In the meantime, I'm going to try making this into more of a wash. Gosh, it's pretty. Where's my... use this brush. Wow, that water got pretty. Okay, so if I try this on an area that I can't see as much... Oh, I guess actually here. Okay, that's real thin. It's probably good. My hands are so covered in paint. I've been pretty bad about that. That's okay. What does my thin wash look like here? That's interesting. So you can see this is the same paint. I've just added a ton of water to make this thinner version. Let me get a... Yeah, this one's clean. I'm trying to dry this out to do a literal dry brushing, but I might have to wash this more thoroughly. Oh, we'll see. Can I just lift this up? Yeah, I can lift that up even more. Okay, so I just dry brushed that a little bit, and I've kind of pulled the pigments away. Let's just do that for this whole bottom area. So... So that covers up my oopsie. And then, using the dryer brush, move that stuff around. Dry brushing is always hard because, of course, your brush becomes wet and saturated one way or the other after a while. So those blue marks are still there, but they're a little more incorporated now. Actually, I kind of like the lighter. Oh, this is interesting. This isn't where I intended to go, but I like where I landed. Okay, I put my hand right on the blue. But there, I've made his whole lower jaw just a little bluer. That's an interesting, and I let it just sort of fade into the bronze. So that's pretty okay. This is a mistake. Let's clean that up. So P.S. The bottom paint is not dry yet. Noted. Noted. What do I want to do around those eyes? There's a cat hair on here. Cat hair ends up in everything. Meh. Okay. Dry, dry, dry. Don't touch the important stuff. Oh, it's all important. My hands are so sparkly. The pearl sparkle continues to just get on everything, as glitter, of course, is wont to do. Well, the good news is the places where I touched it don't look terrible. So, I can... Where's that one I just saw? Just, you know, blend my fingerprints back in. And no one will ever know. Except you people. Ooh, okay. I gotta open that link. That is a fantastic up-close of a cassowary. Man, they're weird creatures. Although the black tissue around the mouth and that bit of red on the inside is really notable. Man, I need black paint. And those eyes are just beautiful. So like good amber eyes. This guy, the model has very small actual eyes. I had a moment of considering actually purchasing taxidermy eyes to put in there, but I didn't because they're so small. But yeah, so this has blue all the way around, kind of up on those ridges. So yeah, maybe the villain crest is too much. Maybe I need to actually bring my blue in a little bit closer to the eyes, so it's like right behind the eyes, kind of the orca effect. And help those stand out a little bit, because they're just, you know, eyes matter, and these are recessed a bit. And then I'm going to need some off color for the eyes, but they're so little. Yeah, now let's add even more blue. I love it. I love the blue. I don't see any reason to be, like, shy about this blue. Let's make it weird. Although, actually, you know what I might do? This might be the worst idea, but I think I'm going to do it. I might add just a little bit of the cobalt blue in here, so that the stuff I'm putting up around the face is going to be a different quality of blue. Because on the cassowary, it's actually more of a cobalt blue. If I was going to try and color match exactly, cassowaries strike me as more of a cobalt. So if I add that in here, maybe a little more. I've had no inclination to add reds or yellows to this. It's been really interesting. So even though I know, like, this animal has a vascular layer and, you know, should hypothetically have more nuance, I'm not feeling it. I might do some sort of detail later, but... yeah, so let's try this. Being pulled up a little bit by the cadmium. Cadmium. Wow, my brush is absolutely saturated with paint, which is not the best, but it's what I'm doing. Alright, so I kind of want my pigment to be... let's just commit. Let's just do it right here. It's definitely a different shade of blue. This one's much brighter. So that's interesting. And now we care about that eye. Like, that immediately, boom, pulls that out. So I'm kind of already liking that. Yeah, this brush is too big for this work. Let's take my little guy. Oop, my little one's been sitting in phthalo blue. Just not optimal. Okay. So I'm blending this into the darker a little bit, but I really love the fact that this is a lighter blue. To have it up by the eyes like that and have it be bright is kind of exciting. Because a lot of animals that look like they're one color, when you actually look at them, they're a million colors. Just all kind of in one type of color. Man, I had managed to have a big blob of paint sitting here. Let me grab that. Okay. So there, I have this cool kind of fun ring, but now that eye is much more accentuated. I'm actually going to fill in this ridge. Alright, so now I just have to do it on the other side and have it, you know, match. Which I can do that. It basically goes down to there. And again, it doesn't have to be 100% symmetrical. It's representing an animal. Bilateral symmetry is good, but not 100%. Okay. I want the big guy for this. Blap. I'm a menace. I like having, like, every size difference of tool. My worst is tweezers, but I'm remembering now that I like it with brushes too. That's alright. And I'm getting that close. Man, symmetry. Okay. So let me thicken up some of these edges. But all right. No, these blues are great. And the base bronze is continuing to just be the gift that keeps on giving. It's such a good color. That was the right call. Okay. Yeah, so I think from here, I'm going to deviate from my cassowary base a lot, because I'm feeling greens. I'm really liking how the blues are working on this, and I can see going into a green direction. But for right now, like, that's a cool pigment. I like having the kind of mask look on this guy. And I still got the villain point, and I'm digging the villain point. I'm gonna leave that. Okay. And then, yeah, I've got that little bit of tone on that jaw, which I think I'm gonna leave. Alright, well, good humans. It is 3:30. And so I think I need a pretty significant break. I'm, like we were talking about before, I've got to keep wiggling it out. I might be back on this afternoon, but I want to see if I can get a hold of some black paint. The fact that that tube was dead scuppered some of my plans. I'm gonna want black for highlights. Even if I'm not using black as one of the main tones, I like going in different directions the way that I've done. I think that was really solid. But I'm gonna want to have black to be able to do a lot of the rest of this, and seeing as that didn't work out this time, I think I don't want to get too much farther, and then, as they say, paint myself into a corner. Sorry, it was right there. Did I not close one of my tubes? Oh, I didn't close the dead tube. So I think I'm going to call it for right now. So thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. As I figure out how to make this guy as epic as possible. Oh, let me get the backboard so we can have that tableau. So yeah, this was a total success. 100% happy with how this has ended up. This is coming along really fun. It's going to be a really exciting little, like, wall vignette. And so I think my next steps are the eyes are going to be some sort of amber. I'm going to want green and possibly red, fleshy looking highlight areas. So maybe, I'm thinking green, you know, kind of along in here. And then maybe red along the neck, so I can start having like those red wattle looking things like a cassowary has. White teeth, obviously, I haven't touched that. And then I'm going to start having to do washes and wearing and stuff to make it look not like just perfect piles of paint sitting on it. You know, animals have pores and shadow and dirt and whatever like that. So I'm going to want to add all those layers. And having the black available for that's going to be kind of a big part too. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up for now. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the fun insights and also terrible puns for those who provided those. Always a nice addition. I will definitely be working on this next Thursday. If I really get inspired, I might come on before then, but we'll call it next Thursday for right now. And I'll see about getting some feathers. So if you haven't already followed me, please do. I sure appreciate it. I only have 5 more followers until hit 50. So tell your friends. I only need 5. Well, 6, 7, or 8, 9 would be great. But I'm going for 50 at the moment. Everybody take care, and I will see you all next time. Bye!